All right, guys, let's get started with today's market update video. First, let's discuss what we discussed about Nifty yesterday, and then we will discuss the indicators. As if you see, we had discussed that these lows are very important, and you have to take a dip by Nifty and not attempt to short it until this entire demand. Right. So the same view holds. Structural, as per the structure which is developing right now. It dipped down in the morning today, gave a nice little long. So this entire base is my reference area, and this is my demand. So it dipped down into this area today morning, and then just nicely formed a base here where you would have taken a long. Not really move much. All right, we don't expect it to move much until and unless cleared out. But still, this was a nice little long which formed here. Right here, you could have aimed for this supply. Right, would have been a nice one. That is about Nifty. Now let's move to our usual sectoral analysis, which we do. Right, so if I pick out all the, so let's start with Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty, the view was that it will be bullish, right? Not really play out today, but it doesn't change the structure of Bank Nifty. Same thing, still consolidating above these highs, and until and unless it keeps doing that, there is nothing to be um, short on Bank Nifty. No reason to be short on Bank Nifty. So this demand zone, until and unless it holds, I won't start taking any shorts in Bank Nifty even on an intraday basis. 100 200 point move, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. You have to risk amount if the structure is inherently bullish on the higher time frames. So two views were discussed, that it starts turning around from these areas, these areas and then starts moving up. But what happened is, another scenario which I discussed was, I told that this is an area of liquidity pool right here of liquidity was lying down here, and everything has been cleared today. Then it formed a base right here. We have tried to take a long here, right? Don't take longs on this breakout structure. This is not really a breakout structure. You want to wait for a proper base to be built up before you get the momentum. So breakout structure is one thing, and knowing when the momentum is about to kick in is the other thing, and that is what you need to work on in my, right. So this is your base build up, and that momentum kicked in again. It retraced back from fusion base right here. This entire area is an area of supply. So let's see what happens tomorrow. My view is still bullish. I'd still like to take longs until that hourly pin out, and the longs which I'll take now will be from this demand zone, right? This one. This is the one that gave a move in the morning, and tomorrow, if it doesn't gap up and shoot up straight into this supply, which it might do because there is again liquidity has been built up here, it might just take out all the sellers and then contract and move up. Let's see if this develops, or if it dips down, then this is a must take long for me. Few banking stocks which I discussed, they still hold. So if I see um, Kotak Bank, see, look at the view in Kotak Bank, played out absolutely perfectly. Like, look at this thing. This dip was discussed, and then a move up was discussed. So this has played out exactly as we discussed. This was a nice trade. I missed this one because I was in SBI, but you see the outperformance. This is because of the structure, and this is what we're trying to catch. We're trading the index. Otherwise, we can just trade when we're trading stocks. Otherwise, we can just trade the index. This is the outperformance which we're trying to catch. You see, Bank Nifty was turning around in the afternoon, but Kotak Bank continues to outperform. This was the outperforming structure which I discussed. Kotak Bank and SBI, and you see nice little dip in the morning. Immediate buy at this level, right, and then doesn't look back entire day after that, right. This was a good one. Kotak Bank was a trade. Another one was SBI as well. This was the trade which I took. Yeah, if you see, this was the hourly base which was discussed in SBI. Told that it's the sector is bullish now. See, long was taken from this hourly base as this. All right. So you can still focus on these two banks only for the bullishness, because they continue to outperform. So SBI breaks out tomorrow and it comes back down, you can take it on the upside again. Kotak Bank as well. But now if you see, it has made a new high, right? So the base which led to the breakout is this now. this entire area is an area of very strong demand. So when it comes down, definitely try to give some bounce if it. So you can look at these structures. Other banks which I discussed, if you see ICICI Bank, see the view which was discussed in ICICI Bank, played out exactly. So you see when the structure is weak, it will fall. So I discussed that this is, unless this supply is taken out, I'm not taking any longs ICICI Bank. Happened today. Right, so structure will tell you every single thing. Axis Bank, if you see, I told you that there is no distribution here and it kept going sideways. It did not underperform in Bank Nifty. SDFC Bank, also the structure, weak structure was discussed. This was a distribution base, and you see exactly from this supply in the morning started to turn around and just fell down. So structure is everything. You need to focus on the high time frame structure. You will know exactly what every stock is trying to do. Right. So if I check out other few financials, nothing interesting setting up in financial except Kotak Bank. This could have been a good one. Right? So this is the nice little base here, and you see the breakout right here. You take the retest, which led to the breakout. Only that demands. Actually, I wouldn't prefer taking longs here. Why? Because there's a lot of space below. It can just do something like this, and then this is why I would have avoided this structure. But again, you can start taking this area of demand still stands. If it dips down tomorrow, it has to contract. You can take it for a short-term trade. So that is banks and financials. I'm still bullish in them. Nothing to be bullish about yet. And if you see auto now, what auto is doing is, again, we'll wait auto to resolve out of this, resolve this range on the upside or the downside, wherever. My expectation is it will resolve on the upside because like a nice little bit of for longs, which is much higher here. So let's see. My expectation is that it will resolve on the upside. Let's see if that happens. If when it does, then we'll look for trades in auto sectors, right? Energy as well. If you see energy, the view was if it dips down into this demand zone, you can take a long. It dipped down and it gave a nice little long in the stock which I discussed. The stock which had discussed, what IOC, IOC had discussed very um, multiple times yesterday that this is a strong structure. Take it nicely. PCL was also a strong structure. I was trying to take a long at this demand zone. It never came there, so I just ignored. I like to take longs here apart from the dip. Still, the bullish view played out. The outperforming structure showed its prowess as expected. See all this, still not able to. Tata Power C was that it will come, that it is coming. Now again in Petro, wait for it to resolve the range. Target C, no movement at all. These are the underperformers. Lines, he was that if it breaks out, we'll take it, but it actually breaks down. Now you can. ONGC, the view was that it might come down here. There is a lot of gap here, but if it doesn't, then and if it breaks out tomorrow, then this become breakout demand. You can use for long trade. Again, very weak. We won't it. So you can trade IOC tomorrow again if it dips down. So the same structure. I just keep following the structure on the high time frame. Keep trading them every day, or you just take a short term swing. Dips down, take it again. Energy still bullish until and unless it takes out the demand zone which I had marked. Yeah. But until and unless it takes out this entire base, I will be bullish on the energies. Finance we have discussed. We'll take FMCG. The view was that it might dip a bit these areas, and then we can take a long. So we wanted a breakout and then a dip for that long trade, right? Long trade. So it hasn't happened yet, but now if you see, this base is actually maturing again. There was an attempt at breakout. There is some supply which is coming in at high levels, and this is an area of liquidity. This area right here, if you see, this entire structure is for long trades. Dips down tomorrow, definitely have to take. Let's check out some FMCG stocks. A lot of FMCG stocks have gone very range bound, right? Stocks like ITC is one bullish structure which you can look for. ITC dips down to this area. ITC dips down to this area tomorrow. Take a long in IT. Now Britannia again, it's building up nicely. Britannia's already tested the demand. So if you see, this demand zone has already been tested by Britannia. It hasn't led to a new breakout or anything like that, but it has tested this demand, which the FMCG index hasn't tested. Let's check out the Nifty FMCG index. This demand hasn't been tested. Britannia has tested. So let's see if it gives a move on the upside. Plan of action to take in Britannia would be like this. You take a long in Britannia. Dabur again, a very range bound structure. I won't really mess with. Marico is extremely strong. The demand zone on focus is mark the previous range. This is the demand zone in the here. Demand zone which dips down. There is some sort of distribution here. Definitely there will be a dip down tomorrow. So if it builds up for half a day or at least 2 to 3 hours, you will then get a spike on the upside, which will cover void which would trade in the morning. So there's a very high probability that it will play out exactly as I'll avoid it because it's weaker on this high. It might break out tomorrow, but I'll avoid. EBL, nothing yet. You can avoid this as well. Colgate as well, you can avoid it. And all these you can avoid as well. So Tania, ITC, and Marico are three stocks which I'm focusing on from the long side. EIT, if you see, this breakout was expected day before yesterday. So if you remember, I had drawn. Okay, it was expected today only. So not trade IT stocks today. I was trading banks. You see, Nifty IT, the breakout was expected and the dip long was expected. So now that this supply has been, and it played out nicely, now that the supply has been taken out, we will look for a dip below again to areas. The breakout demand. I just mark it. Actually, this is the breakout demand which it tested in the morning itself, and it gave a long. But you can take this as well, referring to this high, because high is this one. This is actually what led to the breakout of the supply. So you can take longs if it dips sharply down and then starts moving up. This starts moving up from here. I'll ignore this. Media, the up move continues. The daily supply, there was no retracement. We were expecting some retracement, daily supply area, but there was no retracement. Tomorrow, what I expect it to do is again break out on the upside. So I don't really expect any entry in Nifty media, so you can avoid it now because it has shown no weakness at the supply. Now metals, if you see nice long in metal sector, the view was that it will break out, come back in, and then start moving up. Broke out in the morning, came back in, and higher. Stocks which I discussed for a long trade in metal sector. So everything playing out really, really well. Liking the content, make sure that you're sharing it with helps the channel grow and also acts as a motivation. So the expectation in Hindalco was to take a long here, but it just gapped up higher. Similarly with other metal stocks as well. So you can refer to the past video where I selected the bullish metal stocks, right? And then you can trade those metal stocks again. Mostly it's Hindalco, right? Because it's still bullish. You can trade these one zone because final break high. You can trade National Aluminium as well, or you can wait for that breakout to come in and you can get in here. You avoid this. Tata Steel is now broken out, so this area is a very strong area of demand. If it reaches a supply, immediately don't try to take long in this. It just spikes up in the morning. Jindal Steel, the view was again a dip buy, but didn't really give a dip buy. Just went sideways. So tomorrow, if it dips again, take a long at this demand zone right. Pulse. These are a few metal stocks which you can watch. The bias is on the upside. You see NMDC and sales still underperforming. You see the structure was bad. I see the loss is already there. Mark, the structure is bad and it's still underperforming. Right? No point taking the longs. Be very, very selective and trade proper trades only. So okay, so Pharma is setting up quite nicely. If you see, it's taking out the supply right here. Now what you can do in Pharma is, if you go to the lower charts, supply has gone, so I'll just remove it. Now you can expect a quick spike up till the previous high. So the base for reference in pharma is this one, supply for the base. Now it dips down to this demand zone. That is when you can take a long in pharma sectors, the pharma stocks. So you can watch a few pharma stocks. Mostly I have not really tracked pharma since a lot of days, but I think the stocks are setting up nicely. Lupin is setting up really nice both charts as well. See, it's a nice little base. It's struggling at the supply. Let it break out and then come back for an up move again in Lupin. So it's setting up quite nicely. Biocon you can ignore. It's in a bearish structure. Dr. Reddy is also looking good here. See, this was the supply. It's taken out. Right? The demand zone is not tested yet, and that is a sign of that is a point of concern. But if you see, the rally is very smooth. There is no resistance at all. If you spikes up, just no resistance when it starts moving higher. So you can take these on the upside. Dr. Reddy is also good. Sun Pharma is also a great structure in the pharma sector, because if you see, this is the distribution area right here. Now actually you wait for another breakout in the pharma stocks and then take it, because a lot of stocks are still below the supply. So wait for that breakout and then take it on the up. Davis Lab, avoid it. It's far from the supply. Alchem also you can avoid it. APL Limited is looking quite nice here. If it dips down to this base tomorrow, here, upside. So pharma, I'll be biased on the upside from now. That's in pharma anymore. Nifty PSU Bank, I discussed to PSU Bank. I told you to avoid Canara Bank for long trades. Let's see how it played out. I did not take it. So see, not really moved at all, because there is a lot of overhead supply. You have to be aware of these. Watching just the 5 minute won't do anything for you. So SBI was shared, it moved nicely. Bank of Baroda was also shared to take a long at this demand zone, but then the supply um, just did not allow the stock to go any higher from that area. So you could have taken a long here, but the supply was very strong, and then it did not allow the price to move higher. It's fine. SBI, but the structure is still bullish. So until this demand is taken out, structure is still bullish in SU banks, in Bank of Baroda. If I take SBIN, let's SBIN. All right, I think the internet is not just sorry about the delay. Might be a 2 minute delay. All right, we're back. So yeah, so Nifty PSU banks, I'm still bullish, but I'll only prefer SBI now, because in Bank of Baroda the supply has been formed. Right. Nifty Realty, I told you to wait for the breakout and then take long. So let it break out first out of supply, and then you take longs here. So that is it for the index views, and I'm still very bullish on the indices. It is also moving up nicely. So there is nothing to be short in, nothing to be bearish about in the broader market. Things are looking quite good. Even farmers and defensives are also moving up, along with banks also. Banks might go sideways for 1 or 2 days more before they actually move up. So we will see that in the coming days. Right? But I'm still very bullish, and I've already discussed the view in detail. So hopefully you're liking the content. Make sure that you like it and you subscribe and share the video. Well, and also you can put down in the comments if you have comments, if you have any doubt, and I will check them out, and I'll try to answer them as much as I can. Good night everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.